Welcome to Ending the Stupid Gender War. This show is only for intelligent, mature, non-ADHD, non-doom scrolling people only. So, if you don't have what it takes to pay real attention, exit stage left. Yeah, that's an order. Subscribe and share this video with everyone you know, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? Today's topic is money. Yes, it's not the root of all evil. Money's not the problem. Money is just a tool. Money is part of the system that keeps the world turning. Unfortunately or fortunately, it depends how fortunate you are. Isn't that the truth? Ever since the black and white days and before money was ever created, there was always a way of handling things. All we care about today is how you and your partner, and how you in general, handle money when it comes to relationships or potential relationships. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, shall we? Okay, without further ado, like always, we're going to start off with the women. Okay, what do they have to say in terms of for enjoying money now? Okay, so we're going to look at spending versus saving, but it's a little more complex than that. We're getting into the nitty gritty according to problems, okay, people? Okay, so you act, from the women, you act like every dollar we spend is a betrayal of our future. We have savings. We have retirement. Okay, that's good. Thinking ahead. It's always good. Contingency planning, right? This is responsible behavior. We have insurance. And still you hoard like we're one bad week from the streets. I hope that's not the case. A lot of irresponsibility out there with a lot of men when it comes to money. It's very tempting to spend too much too soon or money you don't have, right? I want to go out to dinner without a lecture. I want to book a vacation without a spreadsheet presentation. Yeah, see, now we're entering borderline abusive behavior or downright financially abusive behavior from, the husbands or the boyfriends in a relationship, because they'll tell you what you can and can't spend. All the way up to the smallest thing, like a cup of coffee. But yet they get to spend and save however much they want. It's really unfair. And a lot of these cases are abusive, where they literally control their wives or girlfriends, whether they share bank accounts or not. It's really despicable behavior. And it's a very big problem. Like, the husband or the boyfriend can be gambling, maybe even cheating on the wife or girlfriend, right? And spending a lot of money. But then, as soon as he starts running low on his funds, he's going to go over and try to control your funds, whether they're shared or not. You see how abusive that is? When it comes to a relationship, it's 50-50. You guys are both in charge of the funds, like the coffers from the king and the queen in the palace and the kingdom. So if you want to be a king and a queen, y'all better act like it. Otherwise, you're just a bunch of loser fools who don't know what you're doing. No maturity, no intelligence. You call it responsibility. I call it fear dressed up as virtue. Your parents stressed out about money your whole childhood, so now you're paralyzed by it. Well, that could be the case. Usually all the problems lead back to the mother and the family if they were toxic monsters. But it's always a decision whether to end up just like them or do better. That takes your own, willpower. But I don't marry you to live like we're broke when we're not. Yeah, see, that's the thing. You have to have balance. You save, you spend, and you think about what you're going to spend before you spend it. Be conscientious consumers, but also live a little. But don't live too much in the sense of money spending, because, well, you're not saving enough money for a rainy day. There's got to be a balance. You guys got to budget it together. Talk about it. A lot of people end up in divorces or breakups because they can't handle the topic of finance. My parents were like this. My dad wanted to control every single parts of all the funds, and my mom didn't like it. I learned a lot about that. I learned, number one, that my future partner better be mature and intelligent enough to work on my level to say, hey, look, we got to be responsible, because if not, we're both going to end up on the street, right? I married you to build a life, not just a bank account. Every time you kill a spontaneous moment, she's not a gold digger, okay, people? That's not what she means here. I know what the context is. She's not a gold digger, okay? So don't be sounding the alarm that she married a bank account, because I know a lot of toxic guys out there are going to say that. I married you to build a life, not just a bank account, meaning, we're doing like kind of like algebra here. If not this, then that, both sides. It's not that deep, okay, bros? It's not. Every time you kill a spontaneous moment with a calculator, you're not protecting us. You're punishing us for your past. And I'm tired of being collateral damage in a war you're still fighting with ghosts. Yeah, well, this is the gender war. So, welcome to the chaos. She has a point. There's a lot of women, unfortunately, suffering through their relationships, their marriages, and with an abusive or borderline abusive husband or boyfriend, where they're trying to control every little thing they do, even every single little thing they say too. Let's go ahead and continue with the women, but this time in favor for spending money. Always. You spend like tomorrow doesn't exist. I watch money flow through your hands like water. And when I ask where it went, you get defensive. It's just a coffee. It's just a night out. It's just a subscription. But it's never just one thing. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, that could be the case. Especially in today's digital age. Yeah, I agree with that. And if that's the case. And I'm not the one lying awake at night doing the math you refuse to do. Okay, she is the one lying awake doing the math. You call me controlling. I call myself the only adult in this house thinking about our future. You want to enjoy life now. I want to have a life later. Okay, so she's arguing for saving more instead of... See, this is the imbalance I was talking about. It's simple mathematics, right? Like, literally. You spend too much, you're not saving enough. You're saving too much, you're not living enough. It's just that simple. Everybody has their budgets. Everybody has their thresholds. But the only thing that matters is that you both agree, maturely speaking, because it can't just be one in charge of everything and the other's not, unless the other, agrees to those terms and says, you know what, you handle the finances because I suck at doing it. Okay, but it has to still be fair. Not controlling behavior. And not careless behavior. Right? Saving too much, spending too much. Those are two opposite ends of the extreme spectrums here. All right, so I want to have a life later, but later doesn't exist if we spend now like there's no tomorrow. I'm not trying to ruin your fun. I'm trying to make sure we have fun for the next 40 years instead of just this weekend. Yeah, absolutely. You can't live like tomorrow doesn't exist because most likely tomorrow is going to come anyways. It's as simple as waking up in the morning, and you shouldn't take that for granted. You should always be grateful for every day that you're still alive. But she has a point here. But you see every dollar I save as a criticism, when reality it's a love letter to our future that you refuse to read. Okay. This is very easy. We just covered everything within that side of the spectrum here with the women. Let's go ahead and shift gears over to the men, see what they have to say for these 2 points here. For financial freedom, you want joint accounts and shared budgets. Yeah, a lot of men have a problem with that. Well, that's a trust issue. That's your guys' problem. I'm not saying to trust any woman. I'm just saying that if you can't trust a woman financially, then you're with the wrong woman. Oh, but how am I supposed to know? That's your problem. It's not a gamble. If you feel like it's a gamble, you don't know if you should have worked on that with a solid friendship before dating and before marrying or getting into a serious long-term relationship. That's your problem. If you feel like you can't trust your partner with financial responsibilities, like shared bank accounts. You see how that works? Without trust, there is nothing. With doubt, there's uncertainty. And that's your fault. You need to have rock solid communication. Okay, fellas, don't act stupid saying, oh no, the women are going to steal everything. Oh, you know what? You're with the wrong women, idiot. Okay, so I want autonomy. I worked for my money. Well, if you're in a dual working relationship, then she worked for hers. But if you're not, and she's a stay-at-home wife, prepared to handle the kids, or you don't have to have kids. It doesn't matter. If she's going to be a domestic wife, waiting to be your fantasy when you get back home from a hard day's work. It doesn't matter if you work for your money. That's your job, literally. So shut up about it, right? I mean, it's great that you're doing it, but don't have a nasty attitude like so many like idiot guys out there these days. And I'm not being extra hard on the guys. A lot of guys think that you're so hard on the guys and you're so easy on the women. No, I lay the hammer on both of their asses. I do it all the time. But here, I just hear so many times these days of guys complaining about gold diggers, and that's your problem. That's your F up. Understand? Because you're with garbage females who don't deserve to be called real women. You see how I'm laying the hammer down on the women now? Because those are toxic women, right? But again, that's your fault for choosing garbage. Don't start saying it's all women. No, it's not. There are beautiful women inside and out, highly mature, highly responsible and wise, intelligent. The problem is you don't know how to find them. You see? So your future will always depend on you. It rests on your shoulders. So you better buff up them shoulders. All right, so I earned it. And suddenly marriage means every purchase I make gets scrutinized. Well, it depends. Are you spending responsibly, dude? Yes or no? Every hobby becomes a line item. Every personal decision requires committee approval. It depends. Now, if she's trying to control you, like micromanage you, then hell yeah, that's abuse. And she needs to back off or it's over. It's an ultimatum time, right? But if you're being overly sensitive about things that you should be cautious of, and you're like, nah, honey, stop nagging me. And you're going to run, your finances into the gutter, you should have listened to her, right? I don't know what the case is here. Let's go ahead and find out. Maybe we get more of a clue. You call it partnership. I call it surveillance. I'm not hiding anything. I just don't know. I just don't want to justify a new guitar or a guy. It depends how much the guitar is. You got to realize that in a relationship, finances are both of your responsibilities. Like it or not. Anything you buy, it's not like I have to report to my relationship IRS equivalent. She's not the IRS. It doesn't work like that. So stop acting like an idiot. If you're going to make a major purchase, whether she will or you will, you need to talk about it. Unless it's a surprise. Here you go, honey. I got you a beautiful, piece of jewelry. Or we're going to a surprise vacation, 2 tickets to wherever. But if you're going to make a personal purchase that has to do with both of you, because you guys need to survive together. So don't be stupid and be like, oh, you get on my nerves whenever I buy something from It depends. How big is the purchase? Getting upset over a cup of coffee is abusive behavior. Getting concerned about buying a new guitar that costs, I don't know, $2,000, that's a legitimate concern, isn't it? She's not nagging you anymore. Right? So don't be a dumbass thinking that everything is a surveillance state. Because if you feel like that, either you're the problem or she really is abusive and nagging you over things that she shouldn't be nagging you about. I have to make that clear distinction because there's so many idiot guys out there who say everything's surveillance by their wives or their girlfriends. No. It's genuine concern, legit concern over finances. You don't like it? Then don't get into a relationship. Money has to be an open book transparency situation. Or guy's trip to a woman. Okay, a guy's trip. You're going out with guys, spending on an expensive trip. She has a legitimate concern for that. Why the hell are you spending so much money to go out with the guys anyway? It's kind of gay if you ask me. Are you married? Are you in a relationship? Yes or no? Yes or no? And no offense to the gays out there. I'm just saying. Because it seems that you're heterosexual with the woman, right? So, why are you going to spend intimate time with a guy's trip to where? To go get half naked at some, river or mountain? Why don't you bring her along, you idiot? Why do you have to go alone with the guys? And I'm also against girls' night out. What the hell is that? You can have one once in a blue moon, but you should the day that you feel like you need to be away from your partner is the day where your relationship starts crumbling. Oh, but that's obsessive. Then you're a dumbass. Because love requires 100% commitment. You can have your guys' night out, girls' night out, but don't be making it a routine. Because who the hell are you with? Your partner. Not the guys, not the gals. Like, grow the hell up. Seriously. Whenever I hear a guy's trip or girls' night out, I think, what a bunch of idiots. A bunch of dumbasses. Seriously. They're not serious about love. And then they wonder why their relationship crumbles apart. And they're like, oh, all women are like that. All men are like, just shut the hell up. Seriously. To a woman who spends twice as much on skin. See, now we're in a pissing contest. The piss is everywhere. It's worse than like a discotheque's, a bunch of stalls in a bathroom. Like, everybody's pissing all over the place right now. Well, you spend money on skincare. You buy this many cups of coffee. Well, you buy your guitar. Well, you're the one going out with the guys into trips that... It's stupid. It's retarded. You see, I'm actually exhibiting what it's like to be in these situations. The intensity, the ridiculousness, the chaos. It's stupid. That's why I call it the stupid gender war. Grow the hell up. Grow the F up. Because this shit right here does not belong in a relationship, a loving relationship. This is a pissing contest. A urine war. It's stupid. Stupidity at its best. Without blinking. Look at this bitching. This doesn't sound like a real man. This sounds like maybe you're the problem. But that's different, right? Because you're spending a self-care. Well, it is a lot better than buying a guitar, but if it's your money, go ahead and spend your own money. But remember, it's 50-50. Your income, if it's way more than her income, or if she doesn't work, that's just too bad. You share everything in a relationship. 50 mother effing 50. Don't like it, don't get involved in a serious relationship. Or you're in the relationship with the wrong person. And you're acting like a jackass thinking, well, I'm going to play the blame game until we're both two skeletons pointing, our bony fingers to each other. Because that's where that's going to end. Nobody wins the blame game. And there's no brain in that empty skull of yours if you think that that's the correct way to manage a relationship. No, that's just bitching and crying and not pointing to any solution. And mine is irresponsible. It depends. Is it, jackass? It sounds like it. Buying a guitar, there's nothing wrong with buying a guitar, but discuss it with your wife, your girlfriend. If you guys are sharing finances, don't be selfish. I don't have to report anything. You're not reporting, you idiot. You're discussing finances because it matters to the both of you. Anything that she spends needs to be discussed with you too. If it's over a certain budget, if it's a one-time thing, or maybe, you know what, honey, I needed some important self-care because my skin is this or my hair is that. Don't you want a beautiful woman by your side? Now, if they're over-exaggerating it, well, then that needs to be talked about too, right? Honey, you're spending thousands on self-care. Okay, but if you're doing the same thing on guitars and guys' trips, etc., then two wrongs don't make a right. Where are the mature, amicable conversations? Where are they? So don't make a bad situation worse. Be productive, not destructive. Because any idiot can sit there and complain. And blame all men, all women. Just shut the hell up. It's about you and her. Not all men and all women. And mine is, okay, so the double standard is exhausting. Yeah, it sure is. And it's also exhausting because you're adding more fuel to the fire with this bullshit that you're saying. I didn't sign up to have a financial manager. Well, that's your fault, buddy. Whose fault is that? You're the one who said I do at the wedding, right? Or you're the one who said, yeah, you know what? Let's be in a long-term relationship. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Let's move in with each other. You're the one who agreed to those terms. You should have known who you were getting into bed with, literally and figuratively. You can't have your birthday cake and be like, no, my slice, and you can't have it and eat it too, right? Like, you have to share your birthday cake. Unless you're a total, just selfish jackass. I mean, heartless bastard. So I signed up for okay, you signed up for a partner. But somewhere along the way, you became my accountant and I became your problem. No, you both are problems, at this point. Either she has the right to complain about all of this, but it sounds like she kind of sort of doesn't because of the self-care that you're complaining is too much. Maybe it's not, though. A lot of guys lie about how much their women are actually legitly spending for their self-care. And at least it's for self-care. Because a lot of idiots out there will say, well, she's high maintenance. No, you retard. She's taking care of herself. That's health. That's her health. She cares about her appearance. She loves herself. What are you doing with the money? I'm going to go gambling. I'm going to buy this guitar. I'm going to go with the guys. I'm just going to spend it, a la stupido. Just completely retarded, right? Now, granted, it's your money. You can spend it on whatever, but you have to have these conversations with your wife or your girlfriend. It doesn't matter. If you're in a serious, committed relationship, have the damn conversations, but do it amicably. Calm the hell down, which I'm going to do right now because this just annoys me so much. Let's go ahead and go to the second part. Oh my goodness gracious, what a circus. All right, so for financial togetherness, let's see what the guys have to say here. Maybe they'll redeem themselves. You want autonomy. I want security. You treat our money like yours and mine, but I said ours on our wedding day. Okay, well, that's true. Every time you make a significant purchase without discussion, you're not just spending money, you're spending trust. Well, kind of, sort of. Ease down a little bit on that gas pedal. You're telling me that your desires matter more than our agreements. And when I bring it up, I'm controlling and nagging. Okay, so now we're just simply reversing the tables here. That's all we're doing. Now you're playing her role, like we discussed before, and she's playing yours. One of you is the careless spender, and the other one's trying to halt them by, slamming the emergency brake, just pulling on that huge lever and saying, whoa, we need to slow down here. And no, I'm not being this way. This is important to discuss right here, right now. That is extremely important. No, I'm someone who needs to know we're building the same future. That is important, yes. You see independence. I see secrecy. You see freedom. I see a partner who wants the benefits of marriage without the accountability. If you want to make discussions alone, be alone. But don't sit across from me at dinner and pretend we're a team while you're quietly playing solo. Okay, look. Obviously, there's lots of disconnect here, okay? And the tables have been turned. So, is this a battle for or against women? No. There's equal amounts of dumbassery going around here. There's lots of dumbasses in these examples. Now, there's smart actions in these examples too. There's good women and good men who will argue with their spouse or their partner and say, you know what, we need to talk about this. Okay, honey, like this is getting out of control. Or, you know what, I wasn't aware you spent this much on this. Maybe we should plan better. Financial responsibility is at the core of all of this when it comes to wisdom and intelligence, how to carry a proper long-term, hopefully lifelong relationship. That's the ideal. That's the goal. Anyone who says otherwise is an idiot. All right. So I would say that they're equal. They're equal because the tables have turned so many times in this show about money. Just know that money is not everything in life, but it is very damn important. It is very important. Like, my goodness. But it doesn't mean it's everything. You see where the balance is? You really see it, or you're just pretending like you do? You should really think about it. Money's important because the world makes money important. But if we had it our way as free living human creatures, sure, there would be anarchy and chaos. But what matters most? Love. And anybody who doesn't say love is what matters most is a retard. Plain and simple. They don't know what love is. That's why they condemn it. That's why they don't believe in it. It's as simple as that. And with that said, I hope that this show does bring some type of light to whoever needs to hear this. And a lot of people, the truth hurts. Like, no, it's the women. No, it's the men. I don't even want to hear it. That belongs in a circus with you as the clown. And with that said, that's all for now. Be sure to binge watch all these other awesome series. So many hours of awesome content. If you want to actually be a guest on my new show, Let's Talk About Love, all you have to do is sign up as a totally free member on my website, which is shown right here, to receive all kinds of good stuff like a free copy of my book, which I spent over 800 hours creating a long time ago. And it's yours for free if we have a good show. You like it, I like it. Kudos, my special gift to you. But it doesn't matter if you become a guest or not, because if you sign up to become a free member on my website, you get a copy of my 1-hour movie/video. that is very beautiful, very heartwarming, all about how to establish and maintain the perfect lifelong relationship. So, with that said, much love, everybody.